Welcome to John Esser Sports Channel, and we're doing the midweek games. It's game week 8 for the Championship. We're going to start with Birmingham versus Sheffield Wednesday. Birmingham in 11th, 3-1-3 as far as they're concerned. Sheffield Wednesday in 23rd on 5 points, 1-4 as far as they won, drawn and lost. Now, say that for a reason, because Sheffield Wednesday have obviously started to actually gather the points up here and just managing to stay above Sheffield United just as they start to do the same thing at the bottom. Birmingham win, lose, win, lose. And the wheels have fallen off. However, who have they lost against? That's who is important to look at here. If we go back 6 games, that first win, that Oxford United win at home, 1-0, and then a Port Vale in the Carabao Cup, a defeat, 1-0. After that, though, they've lost against Leicester City. They've lost against a Stoke City that's doing really, really well. They won against Swansea, 1-0, and they can actually score quite well. They were doing at the beginning. They were showing signs of it, and then they lost 3-0 away to Coventry last time out. Birmingham, of course, had Jack Robinson sent off on 42 minutes. Did that make a difference to this game? You know, I can't help but think it did. They didn't. It didn't look like it at first, but I think the rest of the players had to do a little bit of extra work, and they ended up pulling back to just try and stop the rot really and not get too far behind. Coventry really ran this one. No shots on target at all for Birmingham, and that's about what we can say there. Whereas Sheffield Wednesday, you get draw, lose, win against Portsmouth away, 2-0. Brilliant. Portsmouth played not very well. That's my neighbours and all the local team is. And then QPR 1-1 at home. QPR getting that penalty to equalise. You know, I really thought they were going to win this one. They did look like it, and then they scored. And they did. For me, they were 1-1 was the right score, obviously, but I think for being on top more assertively, I think it was certainly Wednesday rather than QPR. And believe you, I wouldn't say that being a Rotherham fan. Not likely anyway. I think that it's not going to be a high scoring game. Really isn't. Birmingham can play well in defence. I think 3-0 was rather a rough result really, and brought about a little bit by the red card. I think that Wednesday here must be the ones that I'm going to go for. I'm going for Birmingham 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. I'm going to give them a win. I can't believe it. But I am Blackpool versus Swansea City next. And Swansea are in 13th. Blackburn are in 20th. I hope I said Blackburn there. So Blackburn versus Swansea. Blackburn lose, win, lose. Bit of a wheels falling off moment here, isn't it? Watford not playing that well for me, and they won against them. Hull City had been playing well, but then they seem to have gone through a dull period themselves, and 3-0 win there away from home. Blackburn, I think, are just playing the right teams at the right time there. Charlton, though, Blackburn should really have beaten Charlton. 3-0 defeat at Charlton last time out. And realistically, Blackburn will be kicking themselves that they didn't use. I mean, they kicked the ball around a lot. They passed the ball around a lot in their own half. Just didn't get any real decent shots off on target for me. No clear-cut chances. But Charlton really didn't either. And I think it rather flattered them 3-0, to be quite honest. But they did shoot quite a lot, and they had several on target at least, which Blackburn only got 2 of. So you have to think that they were good for the value, Charlton. Swansea, though, like I say, they were showing signs that they could really rack up a few goals right at the beginning of the season. Draw, win, lose, draw. The last win was for Nottingham Forest in the Carabao Cup, 3-2. at home, and that was a good win. Last time out, Millwall 1-1. So Swansea won, Millwall won. Only took them 12 minutes to get in the lead, but Millwall pegged them back on at 45 plus 1. And then it seemed to be sort of like a game of let's not lose this one, shall we? And everything seemed to go stale. I think it was a game of two halves for me. One half where they really tried, and then one half where they sort of wanted to make sure that neither team lost this one, just don't lose it. Swansea had an awful lot of possession for just 2 shots on target, and only 3 blocked as well, so it's not as if they were being blocked by a good Millwall defence. So Swansea didn't quite do enough in that neck of the woods, and I'm sort of normally you would look at these results and think that Swansea would win it, but I'm just worried that they're not doing as much with the amount of possession and the amount of shots that they really should be doing. And they've got some good passing through, some good through passes. It's just that I don't see it with at the minute, whether it's by injuries, whether it's by fatigue. I don't know. There's a lot of that around at the minute on several different clubs that I know of. I just look at the table and I think we should be thinking that Swansea should have this in the bag, and I just can't help but think that I'm going to go with Blackburn 1, Swansea 1. I really do think that this Blackburn side could just be a little bit more improved at home. Bristol City versus Ipswich next, with Bristol City in 4th and Ipswich in 12th. Both teams have drawn 3, which I think is quite important here. Both teams drawn 3. Bristol City draw, lose, win, lose, draw. Poor defeat against Oxford, I think, by Bristol City. They wouldn't have expected that. Didn't really turn up for me. And then draw 0-0 against Preston. And we were watching this one on the watch along for the first half at least. And Preston seemed to be just trying not to lose it, and they succeeded. Bristol City were really, really good. They were getting through, and they were getting. I think got 20 shots off nearly from 53% possession. They were really doing well, and 7 of them were on target. Preston's goalkeeper can be really good, and that defence can be absolutely astounding as well. 4 or 5 shots blocked as well by Preston. So I think Bristol City will be going home there thinking, how the hell did we not win that one? All hands on deck by Preston, and it worked. Bristol City then doing well. They just sometimes don't turn up, which is a shame because they used to do that years ago. Didn't do it last year, but they seem to have got it back again. Ipswich Town, draw, lose, draw, win. Last 2 wins. Sheffield United 5-0, obliterated them, caused the manager to get sacked, and then 2-1 win at home to Portsmouth. Portsmouth tried to get back, and they did one of their tricks where they seemed to gain momentum right near the end, and they got a goal on 90 plus 2, and they nearly did it, nearly equalised, I think, but with that extra pressure at the end. But I think Ipswich really timed this one extremely well. It was a good mid-table performance by Ipswich. Portsmouth, it was a sort of poorish performance. Again, that's two games in a row with a poor performance. I think Ipswich would have been thinking, how did we only win it by 1? So we've got 2 sides here that can win this one. I would be thinking that Ipswich certainly have their the wherewithal. They've actually got the bit between their teeth and are doing well and getting the results, whereas Bristol City are doing well and somehow not getting the result like last time. You think, I'm going to go with Bristol City 0, Ipswich 2, and we will move on to the next one, which after that game is Hull City versus Preston. Now, Hull City are in 18th position, and Preston are in 6th position, and I like Preston. I think Preston have been playing some really good football. Hull City played some good football at the beginning, and win, lose, draw, win, lose. Doesn't make sense, this though. Bristol City defeat 4-2 in there, and then a Swansea draw 2-2, but we know they can score. And then a 3-1 win at home to Southampton, and you wouldn't expect Hull to be able to cope with that, a side of that class, but they did. 3-1, and came out winners. And then Watford away 2-1. Now they can be, they can really, they started to be able to score, and they have been in the past few years a little bit boring, a little bit dull. 21 shots, not dull at all, is it? Watford will have been going away from this thinking, how did we not win this one like 3 or 4-0? And I mean it, they really should have been obliterating that Hull City side. However, they didn't. Not by as much as what we thought they would. So, can Preston do something here against a side that can play some astonishing football, Hull City, but not do enough with it? I'm actually going to say yes. I'm going to go Hull City 1, Preston 2. Could be the other way around, that one, very, very easily. And last 4 games then of this midweek session for Tuesday at least, which we'll just do the Tuesday games. Leicester City versus Wrexham. Leicester City lose, win, draw. Wrexham win, lose, win, draw. Both sides got a draw last time out. West Brom for Leicester City with a 90 plus 3 minute own goal. I mean, come on. And they had just 1 shot on target, and it went in the net. 13 shots, 1 on target. This side has to get more than that on target. Really does. Let's just check one before. Let's go one before. Well, yeah, we'd have to go 2 before to the 2-2 draw against Oxford. Although they did have Aaron Ramsey sent off on 24 minutes here. Leicester City... 8 shots, 5 on target. So they can do it. It's just that they didn't on that particular occasion. And one can only assume that it was... it has to have been something to do with the style of play or how West Brom were set up. We know that they can be a pretty neat short pass inside, and that they can be very, very clinical, West Brom, but they can also be absolutely garbage. So... these two teams need to be yo-yoing which team's going to turn up. However, Wrexham, they're playing win, lose, win, draw. Last time out for them was Wrexham 1, Derby 1. We know Derby can score. They have got that front line has the ability to pack them in the net as a hell of a lot more than what they are doing. They're just not creating the chances, or they didn't create the chances in this game. But they have been quite clinical with the few that they've had on target. A big percentage is going in the net, and that's why I look at this and I think that that Leicester City versus Wrexham, we could find this because Wrexham there were against that Derby side. Pretty clinical with what they got. Wrexham weren't quite as good as that, but they had a lot on target, and they do tend to get most of their shots on target, or they have recently, and I'm quite impressed by it. But not enough power behind some of them. I think this is going to be a tale of two cities here, in that we've got a tale of two different types of class, basically. Wrexham are just not as classy as the Leicester side, and I really can't see how. They only drew 2-2 against Oxford. but that was a good 0-0 against Coventry. I don't know which team's going to turn up for Leicester. It is at home. I'm going to say the crowd's going to get behind them. I'm going to go Leicester 2, Wrexham 1. And that really could be either way around, couldn't it? Borough versus Stoke City next. And Borough, Borough are in first. Stoke City are in third. And Borough, they've not lost one yet. Coventry haven't either. So Borough win, draw. Last time out 1-1 draw for Borough against Southampton. Southampton 1, Borough 1. I mean, Southampton went into the lead. You could see the enjoyment there of the fans. Yes, and then Borough almost immediately came back to equalise, and Southampton really did try and get back into that one once they'd equalised. I'm not going to let them do that. Borough were lucky here to get away with this. They had a fair few blocked. Southampton had a really good way of pulling back and getting that line across and stopping them solid. Borough couldn't really do anything with it either. I was really, really interested to see how they couldn't get past that blockade that Southampton put up. Who are they playing? They're playing a Stoke City side whose defence can, this season at least, do exactly that, which they weren't doing last season. Win, lose, draw. Last time out, draw 1-1 at home to Norwich City. Pretty poor Norwich City side at the minute, and I was quite shocked that they had 23 shots and 6 on target and 1 in the net. And Norwich City 3 on target and 1 in the net. This Stoke City side should have done this one at least 2-1, 2-0. It was a good top half performance by Stoke, but this Borough side they're there for a reason. However, I think that this is destined for one result, isn't it? Surely it's one result. Borough 1, Stoke 1, and we move on. Now, we're going to go to Sheffield United versus Southampton. How do you do this one? How the hell do we do this one? Southampton in 19th, Sheffield United in 24th. Won the first game last weekend, and they didn't look like doing it. They played awful. That first half, I covered the first half in the watch along, and that team was woeful. Oxford were well on top in that game. They were constantly on top, constantly battling away. It looked like there's only one team going to win this one, and it wasn't. It was Sheffield United in the end. So quite surprised. For Sheffield United, lose. Win. Oxford. Away at Oxford, and it was away. Oxford 0, Sheffield United 1, and 2 shots on target for Sheffield United, which is about 30% of their entire shots on target this season, and it really is. And 1 in the net, 3 on target for Oxford, none in the net. But Oxford really were going away from this game thinking, how the hell did we lose that one? Southampton win, draw, lose, draw. They don't seem to be able to win anything. They seem to just lose they seem to get a bit too cocky, and then all of a sudden they underestimate. They seem to underestimate all their sides, all of them. They didn't underestimate Liverpool, which is strange. They're 2-1 defeat there away at Liverpool, and they played really well. The only game here that they didn't underestimate the opposition. Just look at the Borough game. Southampton 1, Borough 1. Borough 77 minutes and thinking, yes, we've done this. And of course Southampton, just 14 shots and 2 on target. That says everything, doesn't it? And I just look at this game, Sheffield Southampton, and I can't. I was wondering if any of them are going to actually score. I'm going to go Sheffield United 0, Southampton 0, and go to the last game, I think it is, which is Derby versus Charlton. Derby in where's Derby in 21st, Charlton in 7th. Derby County, draw, lose, draw, win, lose, win, draw. Jeez, it's all over the place, isn't it? Last time out, the Wrexham game, the 1-1 Wrexham game for Derby. Wrexham won, Derby won. They came back pretty quick and pretty sharp, Derby. But like I said, you know, it should really have been 2-1, 2-0 to Wrexham, I think, realistically. That Wrexham were in charge of this game. They passed a little bit better. Their shots were a little bit better. A few more shots than at Derby. They sort of really be kicking themselves, that Wrexham side, that they didn't win that one. So Derby were a bit lucky. However, that was away for Derby. Now they're at home. Last time at home, 1-0 defeat at the hands of Preston. Before that, Bristol City 1-1 draw at home. You know, I'd like to think that they could get that stadium rocking at home. Apparently not. Charlton, clinical at home, not as clinical away from home, I fear. Lose, draw, win. They seem to be on a roll. They've scored 4 in the last 2 games. 1-0 away win to Sheffield United. Sneaking that one, but they deserved it. They absolutely deserved it. And then, and with a new manager bounce, you would have. Even they were thinking they were going to get hit with that one. And then Blackburn, the enthusiasm and the crowds getting behind them. Great crowd, great support, and that was a Charlton home win against Blackburn, 3-0. Don't have any statistics for that one whatsoever for some strange reason. Blackburn have been pretty good as it happens, though they've not been. I mean, look, you have to look at the table for this one. Blackburn are down at the bottom near the bottom for a reason. However, they've actually been playing not too bad, and some of the decisions have been going against them. I can't see them being down there for very long. I think that they just seem to be a little bit woeful on that day. I thought Charlton deserved the win. But apart from that, it was for me, it was an average game. I don't know whether I'd really say it was a 3-0, but we can get through to it now. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a 3-0, probably a sort of 2-0 game. But the problem was that Blackburn, although they had plenty, they had enough shots. Let's face it, they had enough shots. It's just that they weren't on target. But I say Blackburn, actually, I said they'd not been playing too bad. They actually had most of the possession. They had most of the ball. They had better passing than Charlton, which is strange because at home Charlton are usually bloody clinical, and they weren't. They weren't as clinical as what they can be. So we've got a Derby County side that can be good and that aren't as good as they can be, and a Charlton side that can be bloody clinical but aren't at the minute. And I just seem to be thinking here that Derby won, Charlton won. What the hell? I'll sit on the fence and just looking at it and thinking. So thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe, and I'll see you with the next prediction video. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe.